In this video, I'm going to show you how to browse a SAS dataset. So browsing a SAS dataset is actually quite easy. So let's say your instructor asks you to perform some type of statistical test on a set of data. It's always a good idea to take a look at data ahead of time to see what the columns look like, what the values are like, etc. So it's easy to browse a SAS dataset in SAS Studio. All you have to do after you log into SAS Studio is click on the Libraries accordion on the left-hand side, expand the My Libraries accordion, and then select the library where your data set is. So in my case, I want to take a look at the CARS data set in the SAS Help library. You'll see that SAS Help is already expanded, and I'm simply going to double-click on the dataset CARS. It's always a good idea here to maximize the viewing screen so you can see a lot more of the dataset. I'll do that by clicking on the Maximize View button at the top of the screen. So let me show you some of the information you can get about a dataset. Obviously, the dataset displays on the right-hand side of the screen, and the names of the columns are along the top. This looks similar to an Excel spreadsheet. On the left-hand side is a list of all of the columns or variables in the dataset. If you see a little letter A and a triangle next to a column name, that means the column is categorical or qualitative. If you see the numbers 1, 2, 3 in a circle next to the column name, that means that the column or variable is quantitative or numeric. SAS only displays a certain number of columns at one time. So if you want to see the whole data set, make sure all of the columns are selected. If they're not, you can select the Select All button at the top of the columns list. If you don't want to see certain columns, you can simply uncheck them and SAS won't display them. You can also move the order of the columns by just dragging and dropping as well. So as you can see, the data is on the right-hand side. If I want to, let's say, sort by a particular column, it's easy to do that as well. So let's say I wanted to see the most expensive manufacturer's suggested retail price. I can simply just click on the column header, and you'll see at first it sorts it from lowest to highest, but if I click it again, SAS will sort it from highest to lowest. So the most expensive car in this data set is $192,465, and it's a Porsche 911. No surprise there. You'll also notice above the data set how many total rows there are in this data set. So there are 428 individual observations in this data set, and there are 15 individual columns. By default, SAS only shows rows 1 through 100 on your screen. If you want to view more of the observations, you can use the arrows at the top of the screen. This arrow back and forth and this arrow back and forth browses the data 100 rows at a time. If you use the arrow with the lines next to it back and forth, or this one, this browses to the end of the data set and to the beginning of the data set. Of course, all adhering to the sort that you applied. So that's it. That's how easy it is to browse a dataset before you go ahead and create a statistical test for it. Thanks for watching.